I mean, just all the top names, they're all into it. Once you really read their writings, they say, well, what we're really doing is making sure the elite hegemonic domination is never challenged. And what we're really doing is dumbing down the middle class. And our real target, through the water, through vaccines, through other things, is the middle class that has the genetics. And I'm not saying I believe this. This is what they believe. That has the genetics to unseat us and overthrow us. And they said that elites always get inbred, elites always get lazy. We always get unseated. So it's a scientific dictatorship that's looking ahead, saying, why have other dynasties, why have other elites always been overthrown? It's because the middle class produces the smartest, most highly efficient, driven people, and they will overthrow us. So we need to recruit out of their ranks to put them into positions of power, their best and brightest, to work with us, but we can't get them all, so we need to poison and dumb down through education the mass of them to make them more easily controlled. And the British Royal Commission on Population, 1944 to 1949, commissioned, and it's declassified, it's public, says, now here's the key, and thanks for letting me have the floor, and jump in any time, but this is important. People get sold on the eugenics because it has a few facets that sound reasonable, okay, but overall it's evil and leads to very bad things, because they say, well, if the third world's having an average of 4.4 children, we need to get rid of them. But the problem is, if you actually look at what the Royal Commission did, they cold-bloodedly say the U.S. and England are a power axis, the Anglo-American elite. We basically run the world. Asia, Africa, Latin America is going to challenge our hegemonic total domination. We have to go in, pay off their governments, or start wars with neighbors, or destroy their food crops at the bare minimum, so that they don't industrialize. And they go on to say, if they industrialize, they'll stop having as many children, and they'll only have less than 2.0.
But we're right in the, listen, Alex, we're right in the middle of this now. I mean, China are becoming the great new power. Okay?
Yeah, it failed. The eugenics plan failed.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. They're still going ahead with it. So let me, well,
go on.
No. I mean, this is just so important, folks.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like a wind-up toy. Bureaucracies can't stop. They have their own inertia. They have their own weight, their own gravity. So a lot of this is kind of like a machine they turned on, they never turned off. You understand? Mm-hmm. And the basic setup of the entire sociological strata of the...
No, I was just going to say, so even though China and the Indian subcontinent are now going through their industrial revolutions and they're going to become consumers worldwide, Russia is back. It was thought to be kind of lame and not a player anymore. They're obviously back as well. These people that you talk about, the people who are controlling the New World Order, are these people internationalists? Are they just Americans or just British?
No.
They're in Russia, they're in China, they're everywhere.
Derived, well, it's an idea, and China and Russia and others have adopted the New World Order model, but they all have public debates about it's going to be a Russian-centric New World Order, or a Chinese-centered New World Order, or will it be an Anglo-American-centered New World Order? But let me just finish this thought for the listeners, because this is the key to it all. Okay. The British and U.S. government and State Department Memorandum 200 from 73, which is basically a carbon copy of the British model from 40 years before, they say that their global plan isn't really about reducing population. It's about hamstringing the third world, and that it will make their population explode, and that will be used as a way of bogging them down. But then they had kind of a schizophrenic operation where then in 75, George Bush Sr., the ambassador to China, went with Memorandum 200 with Henry Kissinger to China. They signed it in agreement for IMF and World Bank loans, and they did carry out the one-child policy. So China is a little bit different than the policies in the rest of Asia, Africa, Latin America. But so what's happened here is basically eugenics, they have the excuses they use for it, but really it's about dumbing everybody down, enslaving everybody, so the elite don't have competition against their systems. And if Africa, Asia, and Latin America would have been allowed to industrialize, they wouldn't be at the population numbers they are. So these eugenicists use the threat of overpopulation as just an excuse to do whatever they want and to kill whoever they want, whereas in reality, they used population bomb as a way to hold back the third world. It's very sick what they're doing.
All right. Dear, do you know, it's freezing in here trying to put the heating up. What's the weather like in Texas?
Oh, it's about 70 degrees and sunny.
No, shut up.
That's what it is here, man.
But it's going to be 110 in about a month and a half, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
You know, with a bit of this global warming they were all going on about, I was hoping we'd get a bit of this, but no such luck. Snow, freezing temperatures, and everybody's, oh yeah, well it's global warming, isn't it? Is it
It's a jet stream, man.
It's one of the coldest winters on record, and the sun had been in the hottest cycle of the most heat radiation being put out in hundreds of years of recorded history. It suddenly cooled at the end of last year, and it's the sun. The entire solar system was heating up. That's hundreds of mainstream news articles, NASA, and they're just hyping. In fact, we have Club of Rome documents where they bragged in the 60s about how it was all going to be concocted as a way to get global taxes.
Yeah, but you know, the old environmentalists here, the old greenies, they are really loving this because,
well, it's a cult. It's a cult.
Exactly.
They're lazy. They want to lay on your back. They suck money off the working people and pay it into their own little control freak salaries to run around and tell you how big your house can be or what kind of car you can have.
Exactly.
It's a bunch of disgusting parasites.
Exactly. Thank you very much indeed. Right. Loads of calls.
I want to go to them, but let me just say one more thing about the eugenics.
Okay.
And that's what we prove in Endgame, how the carbon tax is a global tax, how the environmental movement is paid for actually by the big oil companies. It's all proven in Endgame, how they plan to micromanage our lives. Social workers will be involved, shutting down the family farms, ranches, micromanaging everything. Endgame, literally from A to Z, who the globalists are, how they operate, what their history is, what their master plan is. The transhumanist, people need to understand that they mean business, and if they come away with anything from Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, or this show tonight, it's this. There is a scientific dictatorship. There is an elite that spend billions and billions a year on how to propagandize, how to manipulate, how to control, how to spin words, how to control all the political parties. People just need to realize they're being manipulated. Buttons are being pushed in their minds. There is a control freak elite who are sadistic and who just enjoy the raw exercise of power, and they have actually hurt the planet. I mean, they want to tax carbon dioxide that plants breathe and that is one of the 2 life-giving gases in the life cycle, but they don't care about cross-species chimeras with corn, with cockroach and rat genes in it that kills more than half the rats they feed it to and is making humans sick. They approve human growth hormone for the milk we drink here, and now 3-year-olds look like they're 15, and when the girl goes into the doctor in your country and mine gives her hormone injections to offset it, instead of saying get off the GMO growth hormone milk. I mean, there's real environmental crises, but the environmental movement doesn't care about that. They want to steal your farm or ranch. They want to micromanage you and suck off of you.
That's the problem, you see. They're so concerned about what car you drive, so concerned about your so-called carbon footprint, so concerned about how many flights you make a year.
Communists didn't go away. They just, look, they're green on the outside, red on the inside. They're watermelons.
Okay.